There we go. Record. So we are actually day 7 for real today, right? Tuesday, day 7. I sent out that email yesterday. Geez Louise, what happens when you have too many challenges on the go and everybody had a different day? So my apologies for that, but today is the real day 7. And today is the day that your magic number appears in business. So anybody who's gone through the Matrix Challenge, you know what your magic number is at home. Now we need to have our magic number in business. I love today. It's a fun day. So just again, a shout out to everybody that's still on track with the challenge. You have been doing a lot of deep digging. It's pretty amazing, actually, the work that you've done in this short amount of time. So I just want to congratulate you and celebrate your perseverance and your dedication to getting this done. Okay, now for me, it's been a great experience because I realized how, going through this with you, I realized how intuitive everything is for me and how I just kind of, oh, you do this and move that and move this. So today I think you'll be really happy with me because I have in my email to you, I've already started scripting it out. You'll see it here. I have gone step by step, exactly what you need to do. So I hope that I've really helped to clarify today's instructions. So today what you're going to need, today is our actual plan to profit day. You're going to need anywhere from probably 30 minutes, maybe even as little as 15 to an hour for this exercise. It all depends on where you're at with specifically your cost of goods and your pricing and your expenses. So those are the 3 numbers that we're going to need today to be able to do this. But I want you to at least do it so you can see how all these mechanics work together. And then you know that you can go back and revise as necessary. So the specific tools that you're going to need your direct cost per product without the labor. I'm going to show you that. You're going to need your selling price. Hopefully yesterday you went through the weighted pricing model and you kind of know where you're going to end up now with respect to your price. And we're going to have to go back to the equipment room and get your plan to profit. Actually, this isn't called the tool. This is called the calculator. So that is the tool that you're going to need in the equipment room. The plan to profit calculator is not in your worksheets. So the very first thing that we're going to do is you are going to go back. Now, again, remember, we have to take this from a product/service perspective for each one so we can get this number together. So the very first thing you're going to do is you're going to go back to your direct cost tab, right? And I just want to clarify a few things because we've had a couple of questions on this direct cost piece over here. Where am I going to move this little dashboard so I can see what I'm doing? All right, so a couple of things that I want you to notice. So you're going to move over to your summary area over here. Now, there have been questions regarding this error margin. So in this example, I've taken out the error margin. In your templates, there was a 10% error margin. And basically, an error margin is just saying, what is the likelihood that you really nailed these costs? Or is there going to be a window where you might have forgotten something? And if so, this is why I add an extra 10%. So it's up to you as to whether or not you want to add an extra 10% buffer in case you have forgotten a cost. It's not a bad idea, in my opinion. Usually we forget a lot of the hidden costs. But if you want to take it out, you're welcome to take it out. So you just manually go in and switch it to 0. That's all you need to do. Now, this project-based billing rate in here, I apologize because this is, I'm sharing these templates with you, and this is definitely something that I do with clients one-on-one. For this exercise, I am going to ask you to leave it. So basically, all this is saying over here is it is just taking your markup value. So in some industries, there's a norm when it comes to marking up a specific price, right? So maybe in your sub-trades area, there's an industry standard that they get marked up by 20%, whatever it may be. I'm actually going to suggest that for the exercise, for you to end up with the number, let's leave markup value just at 0 for now. don't worry, we're still going to be charging a much bigger price, but leave the markup value at 0. So I just want you to go through each one of your templates and just scroll down markup value and make sure that they've all just been adjusted. Oh, see here, just adjust them to 0, 0, 0. So just go through and make sure everything's sitting at 0. Because when we come back to our summary, what I would like for you to make sure of when we, oh goodness gracious, okay. When we come back over here to our summary, I want this project-based billing rate to not show the markup value. So if these are all at zeros, they should be exactly the same. See how everything's the same right now? 304, 304, 115, 115. So either keep your error margin in or at 10% or take it down to 0, but I do not want your project billing rate to reflect any markups at this point. So when we come down here, what I would love to see, if I was looking at yours, I would love to see that you've got 100% here and 100% here. Okay, that's where we want to be. Now, the number that we are going to use for today's exercise when it comes to your cost of goods is we are going to use the number that is without labor. So just a couple pieces on that. This total cost with labor, you can see in this example, it's $4,476. And the total cost, so these are costs that you are out of pocket to provide this service or product. Your total cost without labor, $3,280. So one thing I want you to be very certain of before you move forward, that the labor that you have calculated over here on this side, on the left-hand side, is the labor associated with your employees, right? That's why we're taking it out, because we've already accounted for that in operating expenses. So if in your labor you've added any consultants or any sub-trades, you need to move them out and move them into your sub-trade category. So I hope that's clear. If there's any questions, you can always weigh in. So the number, again, is going to be, it's going to be this total cost without labor number that we are going to be using to be able to calculate our cost of goods as a percentage. And we're going to be moving that over. So I hope that that is clear. Okay, so that is step 1, how you lock in your direct costs. Step 2, you lock in your price. I have no control over that. You went through your weighted pricing model yesterday, right? So where did you end up? What price did you settle on? I believe yesterday, I know I did, but I asked you to take your price and I asked you to put it back in here under step 3, forecasting for profit, just listing the price beside the product. So if you have any questions on price, let me know. So now we know 2 things. We know our cost of goods as a dollar value, right? And we know our price. And I see a question. Where would the employee wages be if not in the costs? Well, your employee wages are showing up down here under team and personnel, right? Because these people are getting a salary. They're getting a monthly salary, however it is, or salary or hourly rate. They're already getting that number. But why we accounted for it in our step 4 under pricing, sorry, I'm going to get everything mixed up here. Why we accounted for it under our pricing strategy was to make sure we understood how much of their effort was actually being expended to provide this product or service. That's why this calculation is taking that out, because we're already giving them a monthly salary. But we wanted to know that really out of pocket were $4,476. So I hope that makes sense for you. All right. If not, we can talk about it after. Okay, so now we know our cost of goods as a dollar value, and we know our price as a dollar value. The next thing we need to do is we need to convert our cost of goods as a dollar value into a percentage. So how we do this, see, look at me. I've written it down here for you. Here's the magic formula. And I want you to actually do this manually. I get actually a lot of feedback on sometimes saying, why isn't there a template for that, right? because I also want you to use your prefrontal cortex to figure out how to do these things. When everything's just automatically calculated for you, you don't understand the math behind it, and then sometimes it makes it hard to defend and hard to find a formula if I've messed up in a formula somewhere. So that's why I want you to do this manually. So all you do is you take the your cost of goods as a dollar here. Oh, look at me here. You take your cost of goods, $10. So I'm not using the example that we just used, but I want to just for ease sake, let's say that our cost of goods was $10 in here. So we've got that. And then we divide it by the price that we are selling it at, $100. So $10 COGS divided by the selling price gives you an answer of 0.10. We multiply that by 100 to get our percentage point, 10%. Does that make sense? So if you are selling this widget at $100 and it's costing you $10 to make it and to package it and to get on the, and everything that goes into it, your cost of goods is 10%. Clear as mud? Hopefully that is pretty simple. Now remember again, you are going to do this for each product or service separately. So I asked at the beginning that you have no more than 5, so you only have to do this for 3 to 5, however many revenue streams you have, right? Products or services, so you're gonna put that together. Now, once you get these percentage points for each one of your products, you are then going to take these percentages and move them back into your forecasting for profit tab. So you're going to come back to your forecasting for profit, your cash flow, and right here under our cost of goods, beside each product stream, so just so I can show you where we're at, we're not up here in making money. You've already put your revenue streams in, you've put in your price, right? That you did yesterday. We are now under cost of goods, and you are putting in the percentage point beside the product. So in this case, renovations come out to 80%. Renovations large come out to 75, renovations extra large 70, and custom homes is 85%. Good? Good. All right. So that is whatever step that is. We're at step 4. Step 5, now that you have added your cost of goods, we are now going to average them. So this is very simple, and I'm going to explain why. You're probably like, why do we need to do that? All you have to do to get an average number of your cost of goods, you're going to add 80 plus 75 plus 70 plus 85, whatever your cost of goods are. See, 80, 75, 70, 85, and I'm sending this to you in an email so you have it. Your total is 310. You divide it by the number of units that you're actually adding up, right? Divided by 4 gives us an average cost of goods of 77.5%. So I know we separated 4 buckets and now we need to put it into 1 bucket. I'm going to show you. Please have faith in me, have faith in the process here. You'll see how it all comes together. So we need that number. Okay, so that was the next step. The next one, step 6, is we need to now lock in our annual indirect or operating expenses. So you are going to have to do 4 manual calculations here. So what I want you to do is under your step 3, your tab forecasting for profit, you will recall that we have broken out these 4 buckets of team and personnel, space and operating, sales and marketing, other, with your loans. So what I'm going to ask you to do, and I apologize, but this learning will help for the people coming after you in the next challenge. You're going to have to manually create a formula here so you can get a total, or you can take your calculator and add them up. It's up to you. What I have done here, you will see that this formula, it was simply a matter of clicking on the cell and going to auto sum and just highlighting all of those values that pertain to team and personnel and hitting enter. It's as simple as that. So it's up to you if you want to create the formula, if you're really familiar with it, or just go and manually add up these numbers. Again, I did the same thing. Click on the cell, hit auto sum, highlight those cells, you get the number. Same thing under here, same thing here. One little change over here. These were our other expenses and these were loans. So I needed to take others plus the loans. So over here, it was me just doing a matter of taking auto sum. It was that cell plus this cell, and that gave me my total. Oh, and now look at this. See, messing up formulas. I'm just going to undo everything because that's what happens when you do things live. Lots of mistakes. Okay, so now I know for my other and additional expenses, it is these others plus my loans that gives me a total of $45,460. Everyone with me? I hope so. If not, chat in. See, I'm breaking it down step by step. I hope this is clear for everybody. I was very proud of myself today. All right, so we've got that piece. Now you've got everything you need except for the actual calculator. So now you go back into the Plan to Profit equipment room and you are going to download the P2P Plan to Profit calculator is what you are going to download. When you open it up, now I've actually created a demo here. Sorry, I see some of you emailing in and texting in. That's different for me. Okay. What you're going to do is you're going to open it up. Now, one of the things that I'm going to ask you to do here under your operating expenses, you can see that I've asked you to write the values down. You can see that I've asked you to write the value down of this percentage point. So now let's open up your calculator. So this is your planning to profit calculator, plan to profit calculator. And this is what it looks like. And I'm going to walk you through it before I start inserting numbers so you know exactly how to do this. If any of you have been to my boot camps, this is like the little profit angels and fairies coming out and flapping their wings in great joy, because I have automated this for you. When I've done this exercise, I'm chuckling, when I've done this exercise in boot camps previously, I made them do the manual calculations. And sometimes we got stuck on this for about an hour and a half. So I've automated this for you because A, I'm not with you and I don't know what your questions are, and you're probably already swarming with kind of what's going on. So this is all automated, but here's what you need to do because the formulas are in here. So the areas that are bright yellow in your template, this is where you need to input your first round of data. So number one, you come down here. Actually, it doesn't matter necessarily what order you put these in, but this is the order that I typically use because we know these numbers. So under our indirect costs here, we are going to put in, oh, and I just made it smaller and I'll make it larger again so we can see. You're going to put in your expenses. So I had some time this morning, so I transferred these over. So I had them written down. It was 205,405, and I've actually rounded up. Our space and operating expenses were 98,484. Our sales and marketing as a total for our planned year going forward, right? 60,900, and our other expenses of 45,460. So again, this is why I want you to be very clear before you move these numbers over. I want you to make sure that you're at least 80%, 85, 90% certain that you've got all of the operating expenses budgeted for, that you've foreseen where you are going to end up, that you've brought in the team and the bonuses, and we've put that marketing mix budget aside, right? So all of that is being done. Otherwise, you have to come back and do this again. If you've forgotten something, you forgot a $60,000 expense, you're going to have to come back, team personnel, and do this exercise again. So you move these numbers over, or you insert this data. Here it is, and it is saying now that our total indirect costs right now are 410,000, right? So clear as mud there. The next number that you put in is you're going to come up over here to this bright yellow space, and you're going to put in the percentage point of your cost of goods. So you will recall back over here, do you remember under step, what step were we in? This was step 5. when we added all of these up and we got our average was 77.5. I'm going to highlight that so you see it. So 77.5, I come back over here, and in here I put 77.5. 77.5%. I don't even want you to think about, watch all of these numbers kind of going, whoa, what's going on? What's going on? We're not going to worry about that yet. The next number you have to input here in this bright yellow. So the bright yellow is your primary data sources that you need to get the numbers in. This is your profit. What is your planned profit? Now, this is absolutely up to you, obviously, but I'm going to tell you right now, and you may recall our earlier stories and conversations around being able to go to the bank and getting 7, 8, 9, whatever market you're in, whatever investment opportunity you have right now. You could very easily go and get that return 8%, 9%, maybe not easily, but for 5, 10, 15 minutes of work at the most. So the question is, as a business owner, why are you investing 24/7 of time and all of your money into making a return that's giving you 2%, if not less than that, right? A deficit when you account for all the real expenses. So I am going to encourage you to at least go for, nothing like breaking a mood, hey? To at least go for 10% here under our net profit. At least 10, if not more. But I can show you after how that will add up. So once you get those numbers, your indirect expenses here, your direct costs as an average, and your net profit, right? Your planned net profit. What happens up here is automatically now it is telling you what your revenues need to be. Can you see, isn't that cool? I can hear all the So it is telling you your gross revenues need to come in at $3,281,992 to be able to account for your direct costs of 77.5%. and all of your indirect expenses, right, of your team, space and operating, sales and marketing, and other expenses coming out at 410, that will leave you with a $328,000 and change profit. Isn't that cool? Now, I know some people will say to me, but what about taxes? Yes, you are, depending on what province, you are going to be charged tax on this net profit. So if you want, you could actually say, well, then no, I want my planned profit to be 12%, because now I know that 100,000 and change, that can go to taxes, and I still end up with $300,000. That's as simple as it is. Like, how cool? How cool, right? This again is very high level because I'm not working with you one-on-one, but I hope this gives you a really good sense of how this all comes together for you. All of the heavy lifting was, as you know, operating expenses and your direct costs, right? You've really got to lock in those numbers and make sure you've got the right pricing strategy. That one's a little bit easier, but the heavy lifting is in those two areas. And that's why we go through the detail that we do to make sure that that is locked in. Okay, because when that detail is not locked in, remember, it can only come off one place, your net profit, right? That's the only buffer there. So now what you can do here is under your revenue stream. So for example, in this case, I knew that revenue streams were renovations, medium, and then it was renovations large, and then renos extra large, and then I think it was custom homes. Okay, so you put in those revenue streams. You can enter in that data if you like. Now, this is where, this is totally optional to you, but you might want to go back to your tab called, and I'm going to get it the right thing, review the findings. So if we go back to review the findings, and in the past, if you had your revenue streams broken out, just if it is going to show you here what percentage of each product accounted for your gross revenue. Now, this wasn't a good indication, right? Because it looks like framings and renos were 25, home sales were 42%, miscellaneous income. So all of that was kind of a mishmash, didn't work really well. But you do know a couple of things now. You actually know when we go back over here and you convert these numbers into percentages up here, you are going to know what product or service under your cost of goods, you're going to know what product or service is most profitable for you, right? So if under renovations, if 80% of our renovations, if our costs were only making a 20% profit margin then, right? Renovations large, 70% we're making 25. Custom homes, 85% we're only making 15. So in this example, what product or service is most profitable to us is the renovations extra large, right? So it might make sense for you to devote more energy on selling that one. So it becomes kind of an interesting marketing strategy for you to start looking at, knowing that you want to start marketing on where you're going to be most profitable. So if we just come back here, and again, because we don't have that data, we can start weighting this, but let's say that we want our renovations extra large in terms of revenue to come in, and let's say that we want that to be 50% of our business, and we want renovations medium to maybe be 10, and this to be 25, 10, and maybe this to be 15, right? So it's interesting because once you start to understand what percentage of your products or services account for your gross sales, it'll actually start to give you solid numbers with respect to your sales goals for each one of these product streams. So you don't need to do this. Well, actually, I'm going to ask you to give this some thought because we have to start mapping it tomorrow. This is going to be very easy for you if you have already broken out revenue streams in the past and you know what percentage of your business is coming from what product or service. If you haven't done that before, today I'm going to be asking you to start giving consideration as to what product or service A is most viable, what sells the most in your experience, and how you want to start weighting these, because it is going to give us actual sales goals going forward here that we will start to map tomorrow. Now, this under here, what you're going to do, your cost of goods for stream 1, and I didn't write these down and I should have. So let's go back here. You know these numbers, I'm going to write them down here, but our stream 1 is 80%. Right? Our revenue stream 2 for large houses is 75, then it's 70, and then it's 85. So all you have to do now is go back over here. And again, it's just things in pale yellow that you're entering data. Everything else has a formula attached to it other than these labels over here. But here, so we know that for stream 1, it was 80%. We know that for stream 2, it was 75%. Stream 3, it was 70%. And stream 4, it was 85. And look at that. Now it is giving us our cost of goods off the top. So all of that gets figured out and we're still at our 10% net profit. Pretty cool, don't you think? I think it's cool. I would love to hear from you if you think it's cool, if this is going to help you going forward. But this is how we plan for profit. This is all you need to do today. It's just this template. This is where I want you to end up. What we do tomorrow is we start now taking our sales goals, our numbers, and we have to start mapping it out across the board so that we've got monthly sales coming in depending on when products or services are going to be sold. So we're going to look at doing that tomorrow. This is simply where I want you to end today. Okay. As I mentioned, I have this totally broken down. Again, very proud of myself. Step by step. So we talked in locking in your annual indirect. We go into planning for profit, and then it ends there, right? That's the end. So step 1, you put in your operating expenses in your bright yellow. Step 2, you enter in your average cost of goods. It's the bright yellow. Your plan for profit goal, bright yellow. And then if you want your per product plan percentage of total revenue, right? And then per product, your planned cost of goods, and you get that from your tab 3 forecasting for profit. Okay, that's what I have for you. It's actually a really simple exercise. I just broke it down into extreme details so that you get it step by step. Okay, I am going to leave it there. However, before I let everyone go, I'm going to unmute everyone and let you weigh in with your questions if you have any. And if you don't feel like staying, you absolutely don't have to. You have everything you need to be able to plan for profit now. It's an exciting day for you all. I'm excited for you. So if I don't see you here in the room after, we'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place. Okay. For everyone else, you need to unmute yourself. I've done my piece. You just unmute your microphone and weigh in.
You're talking. You're talking. Okay, question. Would mortgage be under operations space or would it be under other?
Your mortgage, I put that under your operating expenses, your indirect expenses.
And the interest would be on under other. Good Lord, I can't talk.
That's right. Under your loans and interest. And if it doesn't fit, if it's not necessarily a piece of attached to a loan, you can just put it in the other for sure.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. Awesome. You're welcome. All right. Helen, do you have a question? Nope. All right. Sherry, you always usually have questions, or I just did do such a great job today that there's no questions. Any questions? Wow. Crickets, Nikki. You want to play your crickets? Nikki was telling me that on our phone, on our iPhones, there's already a cricket sound. So I'm going to try to find it. Not now, but I'll find it for tomorrow maybe. Okay, any other questions? No. Oh, I see a chat. Okay, give me a sec. Oh, you have too many to ask. Okay. So are any of you, well, we have some time now, Sherry. If you want to ask, we can go ahead, right? We've got a half an hour. I'm happy to answer any questions that come up. You just have to unmute yourself. Otherwise, we can always talk about them later. Okay, you have to get caught up first. Not a problem. All right. Again, yeah, be kind with yourself and compassionate with yourself as you go through this process. Again, you're doing some huge heavy lifting. The amount of businesses that actually go through this, very few, right? So you're doing this work, and it's brilliant that you're along for this ride. So good on you. All right. Anyone else? Okay. I'm going to turn her off. No questions. Okay, one more chat. Oh no. Okay, sorry. So Nikki, she's saying this to everybody, but she said that she missed most of the class today because SaskTel showed up without a call. SaskTel, how inconvenient. Yep. Well, it's all recorded there, and as you didn't hear, but as I've mentioned, I've pretty much detailed step by step exactly what this process is going to look like. So you might not even need to watch the whole video. It might just answer itself for you in the email. But not to worry. I appreciate you turning it on. Okay, gang. I'm going to leave it there then. But you know where to reach me, and I will weigh in early tomorrow again if you have any questions. And I don't know exactly what time, either 10:30 or 10:45. Can't make the commitment right now, but yeah, okay. Thanks for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow. Have fun with this. Looking forward to your new sales goal. Bye for now.